Wow, everything just changed for the New York Jets and Davante Adams and Aaron Rodgers. We're going to break down this game on Thursday Night Football and what to expect in the future for the New York Jets. We got to give the New York Jets credit. We absolutely roasted them when Davante Adams was traded to the Jets and then lost instantly against the Pittsburgh Steelers. So now we got to give them credit. It was a disaster last week when they lost to the New England Patriots, but now everything is turning around for the Jets as they beat the Houston Texans. Let us first say that this game started out ugly. It was crazy ugly, and you had Jets fans booing instantly in the beginning of the game.
In for the sack, another one of the guys they picked up. The Boo Birds come out very early.
And that's absolutely hilarious, seeing these ladies not even able to watch the first quarter. Keep in mind, the Jets were 2-6 going into this game. They were still in sudden death mode, and you had fans chanting, "Sell the team," as they entered halftime down 7 points.
The interim coach, Jeff Ulbrich, again, it's interesting because he was the defensive coordinator under
Sell the team, sell the team. The Jets fans were not happy with owner Woody Johnson, and I guess you could technically say co-owner Aaron Rodgers because he pretty much runs that team, but then everything started to change. There were still some hiccups throughout this game. The Davante Adams, Aaron Rodgers connection did not look too hot in the beginning. You saw this miscommunication happen. Davante seeming like he's not on the same page with Aaron Rodgers, and Rodgers super pissed off. And, you know, we've seen Rodgers yell at his teammates, other wide receivers, but he's not going to do Davante Adams like that. But even he got a little heated at his good buddy, best friend Davante. But honestly, man, once you saw this game unfold in the second half where the Jets defense sacked CJ Stroud 8 times. Now, we do got to give the Texans a little credit and say, hey, they just lost Stephon Diggs. They lost Nico Collins, that wide receiver, earlier in the season. So they were down a ton of weapons. But then we saw Aaron Rodgers absolutely clicking with all of his weapons. And I think this was probably his best game of the entire season. And it all came in the second half. But it was great to see at the end of the game. Even though I'm a Raiders fan, I'm sad that Davante Adams is no longer on our team. It was just so great to see Davante Adams get involved there towards the end, have a beautiful route, and get that touchdown and celebrate. Getting his first touchdown as a New York Jet. Davante Adams was absolutely stoked. Aaron Rodgers celebrated with his friend and wide receiver right after and said, just like the old days. Just like old days. Now, there was some stuff bleeped out there, if you noticed. I'm wondering what Rodgers said. Just like old days bleep? Did he say just like old days mother effer? It was profane. It was something that you're not allowed to say, obviously, on television networks. So Aaron Rodgers, Davante Adams getting aggressive, pumped up. And I don't know what it is about me. I really like seeing old players ball out. I mean, I don't really care what team it is. It just makes me happy to see wide receiver in his 30s, quarterback in his 40s, straight up mossing and clicking against a bunch of dudes in their 20s. To me, that just makes me stoked as a football fan. Davante Adams celebrated the win afterwards. And we've seen him do this for the Raiders a lot, these selfie videos, and it's just crazy to see him now do it in green and black.
What's going on? It's 1-7. We here at MetLife, baby. First win as a Jet. Feels great, man. Feels great. Many more to come. Let's get it.
And here's the thing, man, this was looking like a disaster for Davante Adams for a while. We were just talked about at the beginning of this video how everybody was roasting them. You left a 2-6 team to be with another 2-6 team, that being the New York Jets. But hey, they said they wanted to stay patient. Davante Adams did that speech in the locker room just this past week to get the guys going after the L against the New England Patriots. And maybe it's working, and maybe they knew that this would pay off. And even when I did my, obligatory roast Davante Adams video when they lost to the Pittsburgh Steelers and then lost to the New England Patriots, I have still said in every video, I think I still maintain objective where I've said, dude, There's moments when they look good. Even when people were joking about Davante Adams getting 3 catches for 30 yards against the Pittsburgh Steelers, I watched those 3 catches. They were some freaking good-ass 3 catches, good routes. So I knew this was going to work out eventually. It's just, is it too late? Is it too late to make a run? We're going to talk about that in a little bit, but there's more Davante Adams completely pumped up. And what is up with this? Everybody's stealing the Raiders uniform colors. We got green and black now. People are saying this should be the Jets' new uniform. We get it. We get it. You were on the Raiders. Now you're taking the Raiders uniform colors and bringing them to New Jersey, not New York. We need to quit calling them the New York Jets. We need to quit calling the San Francisco 49ers the SF 49ers. No, they're the Santa Clara 49ers. Let's get that correct. Anyways, this was probably one of the biggest viral moments in the game. I was watching this game at a bar, completely pumped up when I saw Garrett Wilson make what I thought originally was one of the greatest catches that I have seen since Odell Beckham made that one-handed grab. This was in the end zone. But here's the thing, man. I am shocked that the NFL reviewed this catch and then said that it was a touchdown. Now, the argument they're making is that part of his calf lands inside the end zone. Therefore, that counts as a knee or something like that. I think that's completely BS, dude. He only got 1 foot down very clearly. And look, great catch. I was pumped up. We'll get into what I was picking throughout this game. I was very stoked to see Garrett Wilson get yards. I'm just going to say that. So I was stoked to see this happen. I wanted to see this happen, but that's not a catch, man. That is not a touchdown, especially right here. You see the knee hits the white. That automatically means you're out. So this, you know what this made me think? The league wants the Jets to do well. The NFL, whoever influences the referees, I know I sound like a conspiracy theorist. I guess people would say I sound like Aaron Rodgers since they call him a conspiracy theorist, right? We'll get into a little bit of that in a little bit. But I do think the league wants the Jets to be successful. Aaron Rodgers is very famous. If you have him on during the playoffs, that's going to get a lot more ratings than any other opponent. I think Jets versus Chiefs in the AFC Championship game, I think something like that would get more ratings than even Ravens versus Chiefs. Speaking of Ravens versus Chiefs, I was taking a look at this. This X user brought this up. How is the first one with Garrett Wilson a touchdown, but then Isaiah Likely when he had this going on? And remember, when Isaiah Likely was ruled out against the Kansas City Chiefs in week 1 primetime, they were saying that because his foot touched the white. I made a video about this. I know this. I broke this down and we made a joke about how his feet were too big. So if his basically making a joke that if his wing wasn't so big, then he would have been ruled inbounds. So it was literally just the tip of the toes touching the white. That was ruled incomplete on the right, but on the left, that's ruled a touchdown. That just makes me think the league, whoever influences the refs, I don't know. I'm not making any bold allegations here. It seems like the league wants the Jets to be successful. I think they could seriously go on a run, especially after Aaron Rodgers was stumped in the first half. We talked about the boos, sell the team. Then bam, 179 yards in the second half, 3 touchdowns. If he keeps this up, this is a Houston Texans defense that, is missing a few pieces, but is still extremely talented. They're mainly banged up on the offensive side of the football. So they did this against a quality opponent. And even, I know they lost against the New England Patriots. We roasted them for losing against the New England Patriots, but I think it was mainly a defensive blunder in that game last week. I don't really think you could completely blame the offense. The offense could have been more productive, but it was mainly a blunder, in my opinion, on the defensive side of the football. And the defense seems like they're getting their mojo back after getting rid of Robert Saleh, which I think was going to make things awkward inevitably. This was very awkward, which was a 27-yard field goal attempt by Fairbairn. I know I'm not pronouncing that correctly, the kicker of the Houston Texans. And oh my, how can this guy look at his teammates after this? Boom. Oh, bro, when you're looking like that, he instantly knew. Just head down, looking like he literally looks like a kid who's playing Pop Warner and getting yelled at by his dad for throwing interceptions. Like this dude looks so sad after that. Ooh. he was seeing ghosts, man. So blunders by the Houston Texans. I mean, I think this game was still a lot closer than the scoreboard at the end indicates. Some miscues by the Houston Texans there. Now, there were some miscues by the New York Jets. This could have maybe even been, I know I just said the game could be close, but there's still a possibility that it could have even been a wider margin of victory for the New York Jets. This went absolutely viral when Malachi Corley fumbled before freaking scoring, dude. He tried to celebrate too early, did the classic. We've seen this memed up and viral and happened several times in the NFL and college football where the guy drops the football right before he hits the freaking end zone. That was supposed to be the first touchdown of the day at the top of the second quarter, but then boom, that is ruled a fumble, no touchdown, celebrating, but no, you just completely messed up, rookie wide receiver making rookie mistakes, and this is going absolutely viral. Aaron Rodgers flamed him in the press conference after the game, and why not? I mean, you can't make these types of mistakes, especially when you're dealing with a Jets receiver room that now that Davante Adams there is pretty crowded. I mean, Corley is still a different style of wide receiver than a lot of the other guys on the team, but you're not going to get many opportunities if you're messing up like this, especially now that it's crunch time for the New York Jets. By the way, we got to clear up some misinformation. People were trying to claim that D'Amico Ryans shunned and ghosted Aaron Rodgers after the game. But people took this video out of context. It's been community noted because people thought that it looked bad right here that he just ghosted him, didn't even look at him. Plus, keep in mind, D'Amico Ryans was on the coaching staff of the San Francisco 49ers, so he has a relationship with Robert Saleh, the former Jets head coach, who was the defensive coordinator of the San Francisco 49ers while D'Amico Ryans was there. But they do a handshake beforehand, and then that video is taken afterwards. So no drama, even though we would love for that to happen. I mean, come on. As fans, we love any story. We would love to see some beef between D'Amico Ryans and A-Rod, but unfortunately, that's not what happened for us fans, and they had some good sportsmanship. But speaking of the New York Jets, will they have good sportsmanship going forward? I think these guys are going balls to the wall. They cannot lose 2 more games. I think they can afford to lose 1 game, go 10-7, and make the playoffs still. And a lot of people think they have a shot to seriously make a run. This was the story on NFL Network, Ian Rappaport. A lot of NFL insiders are believing in the New York Jets. I mean, if they keep getting touchdown calls like the Garrett Wilson touchdown where they don't even need 2 feet in bounds, they're definitely going to go on a run.
They looked bad, and then they looked really good, and it really does feel like they've convinced the NFL world, like, maybe they could go on a run. And
maybe they just keep rocking and rolling, because the big question is if the Jets tank, if the Jets completely lose, if they only win like 7 games, does Aaron Rodgers even come back next year? We know he has a team-friendly contract. He did that to have some more power with the team. I don't know. I mean, the guy's going to be 41 years old next year. I think the Davante Adams trade, and this is just me just assuming, but I think Woody Johnson, the owner of the Jets, pulls the trigger on the Davante Adams trade, knowing that they're going to run it back again next year, regardless of what happens. I don't think you make that move, a 3rd-round pick for Davante Adams, unless you know we are going to run it back next year and see what we can do. See if we can make the playoffs, even if it doesn't work out this year. When you're looking at this year, I think they can make the playoffs. I mean, I'm shocked to be saying this. They got, I believe, a tough stretch here coming up. And all of these opponents are not completely dominant, in my opinion, but they are all capable of beating the New York Jets because the Jets have proven to be a beatable team this year. But if the Jets play how they did in the second half of this game against the Houston Texans, then I don't think any of these teams could beat the New York Jets. They can handle the Arizona Cardinals, who have been competitive. Kyler Murray is having a great comeback year this year. The Indianapolis Colts just switched to Joe Flacco. Will that give them a spark? They're going to lose the mobility at the quarterback position. Who knows? And the Seattle Seahawks dealing with injuries with DK Metcalf right now. He should be healthy when the Jets play them coming up. And then Tua is back. They got to play the Dolphins twice. That's going to be competitive. Trevor Lawrence and the Jaguars have been absolutely terrible, but there are times where their defense has been tough and they have made some explosive plays on offense. They are definitely a team that could catch you slipping, along with the LA Rams, who keep getting healthier now that Cooper Kupp is back. Puka Nacua is coming back, and now they're not going to trade Cooper Kupp. There was that talk, but after they got a big-time victory on Thursday Night Football last week, that's no longer going to happen. Then you got the Bills, who are definitely going to be tough. I think the Jets could beat all these teams besides the Bills. Besides the Bills, I think the Jets could beat all of these teams, even though the Bills barely beat them by 3 points earlier in the season. Either way, there's still a complete possibility that they go ahead and make a run. And I'm also rooting for Aaron Rodgers because I don't like how the media, analysts, bloggers, writers, content creators, fans all want to mock and come after Aaron Rodgers for stuff that has nothing to do with football or him as a football player. When I was following the news and watching the beginning of this game and every game, I have joked around about the Jets because of the Davante Adams trade and him leaving the Raiders, but people are so quick to jump on the anti-Aaron Rodgers train. As soon as he makes a mistake in the game, they're instantly coming after this guy. Oh, I love watching him lose, love watching him get booed, love watching him get sacked. And we all know what it's all about. We all know it's because he said he was immunized. We all know it's because he supported Robert F. Kennedy before publicly. This is the only reason why a lot of these analysts, people in the media, fans, this is the only reason why they have a problem with this guy. He was still the GOAT before all of that. People praised him. He was a 2-time MVP, 2020, 2021. People were loving this guy until he started speaking his mind and saying what he personally believes, whether you agree with him or not. I don't agree with everything this guy thinks or says, but hey, I'm not going to sit here and just pray for his downfall just because he has a different opinion on things than me. I think that's absolutely ridiculous. So I'm rooting for Rodgers, and that's why I put some skin in the game. When I was watching on Thursday Night Football, I was literally 20 yards away from winning $2,444. By the way, I am sponsored by Underdog. Use code Wi-Fi for $1,000 in bonus cash offers and a free pick. The link is in the description below, but I was so close. I literally hit on every single thing besides the Aaron Rodgers yards. I was going to win $2,445. So hey, New York Jets gave me some hope, but Aaron Rodgers ultimately disappointed me at the end in that regard. However, I think it's because the game wasn't that competitive, so they ended up just running the ball towards the end of the game. Houston Texans weren't able to bridge the gap, but we'll see what happens with the New York Jets. Let me know if you think they're going to be successful this year. Can they still make a run? Is Davante Adams going to be shown that he made the right decision going to New Jersey, not New York, before the end of the 2024 season? Peace out, and I hope you have a good one.